Howdy folks, and welcome to the final part of Random Jank's Guilds of Ravnica. Over the last 4 weeks, plus one in the middle, we've been talking about 8 of the 10 guilds so far. There's only 2 left, and we're going to start off with one of my favorite guilds of all time, Selesnya. Now, this guild is the green and white guild. Their keyword is populate. Now, what it does is it creates a token copy of a token that's already on the battlefield. It's great for people who like to have lots of tiny little armies that just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, the best way to start off with an army is to start off with a big creature, something like Armada Worm. Armada Worm is a 6 mana cost, 5/5 trampler. When it comes into play, you make another 5/5 trampler, which is great because you can take that secondary 5/5 and you can constantly make more and more and more, preferably with things like Druid's Deliverance. You let your opponent attack you completely, you don't block anything at all, you tap 1 green and 1 white, you have a fog-based effect so you don't actually take any damage whatsoever, and you get another copy of any creature that's on the battlefield that's already a token. However, let's say you actually want to kill your opponent's creatures. Now, green and white, they're not really known for a lot of their kill spells, but there is something that can help out. It's called Rootborn Defenses. You populate first, and then you make all of your creatures indestructible, so you can stop your opponent's creatures from attacking you, and you can kill them at the same time. Now, we're talking about this big, huge army. Now, what happens if you don't have either of those 2 cards in hand and you want to still be able to make a lot of tokens in one shot? There's a card called Growing Ranks. It's an enchantment, and every single upkeep, you're populating something. So if you have any creature out, that's a token, and you want to make another one, feel free to do so. And the second guild that I'm going to be talking about today is Gruul. Now, they are the green and red guild, and their special ability is Blood Rush. Now, what it is, it's actually a card ability that you have while it's still in your hand. Instead of putting it on a creature or having an ability that affects the battlefield right away, you discard this creature and pay a small cost to add an ability onto a creature that's already attacking. Now, the good thing about this ability is that it can't really be countered. It's not really a spell that you're casting, it's not an ability that your creatures already have, so something that kind of has to go through automatically unless your opponent has a way of discarding your entire hand, at which point this ability is completely useless. Now, there's a couple of creatures that I like using this ability with. The first one is zhur-taa Swine. You discard it for 1 green, and 1 red, and you give target attacking creature +5/+4. Now, for 3 mana to get bumped up that big is actually pretty cool. The second one I'm going to be talking about is Wasteland Viper. Now, instead of adding a big, huge power and toughness difference, it only adds +1/+2, but it also adds Death Touch, so it helps when your opponent's trying to kill one of your creatures with something that's a lot bigger than yours. You can still stop their creature from coming in. Now, the way these 2 guilds work together is very simple. You're going to make a lot of tokens with your populate cards, and you're going to want to attack as often as possible as soon as you have your Blood Rush creatures in hand, so that you're going to be discarding your extra creatures that you don't need, because you want to be making more tokens than you want to be casting creature spells in the first place. Then with those populate creatures, you're going to be making tokens all the time. You're going to add Blood Rush to those creatures, and your opponent's just going to fall over and die. Hopefully. Now, I have to confess something right now because I like to be an honest person wherever possible. I've never actually used Blood Rush myself. It's not an ability that I've actually found a lot of success with, and I haven't seen a lot of color combinations that work very well with it. That's kind of why I chose it for the last guild. Selesnya I love, Gruul I haven't really touched very much, so please do me a favor. If you have any idea how to use these cards better, or if you think there's another guild that works a lot better with this, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm going to try to make a deck with this with some of your ideas, and I'll see you next week Friday with something that is not the Guilds of Ravnica. Have a good one. Today is no different. We're going to start off with Azorius. Azorius' keyword is Detain. Now, what it is that it causes target opponent's creatures to neither be able to attack, when you have a big group of friends and you're just chilling and playing games. And today I'm going to be talking about those formats. So, we're going to start off with number 1, Two-Headed Giant.